Hello and good evening. This is Nigeria Decides 2023 on Trust TV. And you're welcome once again. The key battleground for the governorship race on March 18th, which is a week's time from now, when Nigerians will again go to the polls to elect governors in 28 states and members of state houses of assembly in all the 36 states of the Federation. Tonight, we'll be focusing on those battleground states to watch out for in some states like Adamawa, Oyo, Benue, Kano, Lagos, Plateau, and many others, where political parties and, of course, their candidates are fighting to clinch the ticket. I am yours, Suleiman. When we return, we'll be right here with you. Stay with us as well. I have with me two guests, one of whom is a development consultant and public analyst, who is Mr. Jide Ojo. He's on the way and he'll be right here with us. But of course, we have our in-house public affairs analyst, Malam Yusuf Zango, who was former editor-in-chief of the News Agency of Nigeria. You're most welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. It's going to be quite a long discussion for us, especially before Jide comes along. Yeah. But maybe we can start with the big guns, Lagos and Kano.
Yes, definitely they are the big guns now. Yes. And it is showing all over. And I think the politics is also dominating the whole country, overshadowing the rest. 26 states where we're expecting governorship election to hold. And Lagos became much more important. What we thought it would be a walkover for APC, but after the presidential election, things just turned around. And those whom we thought were largely going to be underdogs suddenly sprung a surprise, and they felt, they are feeling that they have a case now, and there's a force to be reckoned with. That is the Labour Party. If you can recall, the Labour Party won the presidential election right under the nose of the APC presidential candidate, who is the president-elect. And after that, they just felt invigorated. And they think that they will even take Lagos. Notwithstanding the fact that Lagos used to be a battleground between PDP and APC. Even the PDP has always been playing a second fiddle. So it was always been assumed that once you clinch the APC ticket in Lagos, you are the sure winner. But unfortunately or unfortunately, things are turning around. So definitely Lagos is a real battleground now. And the unfortunate thing is that the fight is being overshadowed by tribal and religious sentiments, much more than what the candidates stand for. That's the most unfortunate thing that's happened in the country.
But even amidst the tribal and religious coloration, there's also an undercurrent, which is that Lagos has had one political boss for forever, since 1999.
Yes.
And some people are determined to upstage and retire that political boss, who happens to be the president-elect as we speak, at the moment. That there is that undercurrent, that it is time. Lagos belongs to all of us, not to one man.
Yeah.
So to what extent do you think that undercurrent is likely to affect the election next Saturday?
Definitely, after the presidential election, those who think that Lagos belongs to Tinubu, I think they were just shocked that, look, Tinubu could be upset right at his doorstep. And those who took the fight to him got just, as I said, they just acquired a new power and they see themselves now, look, we can do it again in the governorship. And really, when you look at what's playing out in Lagos, you find even the APC, that's the incumbent governor, is really worried about it, given his actions now. You know, declaring free ride. Yesterday he declared 3 days mourning, and so many other things, palliatives to just prop up. And he's busy getting endorsement from one group to another, other tribal or religious group. So it's very clear that the APC was really shocked by what happened in the presidential election, and they just became aware that, look, something may happen to us. So they are busy going around. And the Labour Party is also, you see, Labour Party, there are two things move for Labour Party. One is the youth. So the youth are also thinking that, look, because they made Lagos to be the center of EndSARS, and you remember what happened after the EndSARS, even the Lagos state government was being accused of harassing the protesters and also. So they feel that now is the payback time. So they will try to support Labour. And they also believe that their support worked for Labour during the presidential election. So now they want to push the whole hog. Then other undercurrent issues, which I said regrettably, are the issue of religion and tribe. You know, people say, look, Lagos belongs to us. And the others say, no, Lagos belongs to all of us. So it is going to be a very dicey fight, and we're waiting to see how it will play out.
It will be quite interesting, isn't it? Because there are quite a few a few things in the mix, you know, a few factors into the mix. In the presidential election, you notice that the PDP did quite poorly.
Yes.
Given the significance of Lagos as a vote, as a state with a strong vote, with a high number of voters, it did poorly in comparison to the Labour Party and the APC.
Yeah.
But at the governorship election, the PDP has a very popular, also a highly popular candidate who is well known, who is more popularly known as Jando, and who before the presidential election was actually the one giving the Labour Party, the APC, the ruling APC in the state, a run for their money. Yeah. So how do you see the performance of the PDP in this mix?
The problem, PDP has a problem in Lagos because number one, they have not been very strong in Lagos, and number two is the fact that they have always been having in-house fight. Okay. Obani Koro, Bode George, and all that. So they all along they have not been able to bring a solid candidate who will challenge the APC. Even when Jando came, actually Sowolu became more jittery after the presidential election. All along he thought it was going to be a walkover given the place of APC. They never, I don't think he ever reckoned with PDP. So even now he's looking at the fight as a fight between APC and Labour Party, and not necessarily with PDP. I don't think PDP will play a major role. It will come third because the whole country now you have we have three parties. When you come to gubernatorial contest, either APC, PDP, and Labour Party, wherever you go, except maybe in Kano where you bring in MP and NPP. So I see the fight still between Labour Party, APC, with PDP coming in third.
Yeah, a distant third, possibly. Yes. Okay, so but if the fight is between the APC and the Labour Party, to what extent can the Labour Party candidate, Badebo Rhodes Vivo, who incidentally is both Yoruba and Igbo. His mom is Igbo, and his wife, I understand, is also Igbo. Yeah. So to what extent will that help him get over the line higher and above Sanwo-Olu, since you talked earlier about ethnic
that's a trend that is going on, and as I said earlier, the fight in Lagos now is between, like you say, the Yorubas and the Igbos, and possibly, and it's also took unfortunately or fortunately, Sanwo-Olu is also a Christian, so they could divide the votes between the faith, along the faith line, and but that fight has taken a tribal dimension, which Labour is also latching on that, to see that they push their agenda and raise that feeling that, look, if Labour fails, you will be the sacrificial lamb, you the Igbos, you may you may end up being driven away from Lagos. So it's going to play a very, unfortunately, it's going to play a very big role. It's already the whole atmosphere has been just taken over by this issue of tribal allegiance. Yes. So why do you belong? You know, the Yoruba saying, look, you are visitors, you can't take over our land. You should be grateful that we allow you even to prosper here. And the Igbos feeling that, look, Lagos all along were part of the development of Lagos, and we should be allowed to also be part of the governance of Lagos.
But the difference between the two parties in the presidential election boils down to just a handful of votes.
Exactly.
Less than 10,000 votes.
Exactly.
So how do we, how's that going to play out?
That's why each of the candidates is like jittery, thinking that, look, it can be me. Because feeling that mostly for the Labour Party, as I said, they came from nowhere and they sprung that surprise. Ordinarily, before the election, many people would have felt that you can even bet your last kobo that it will be between PDP and APC. And PDP will come a distant second. APC will take everything. And unfortunately, for Labour, I think when you look at the Lagos result, not up to 1.3 million came out.
Exactly.
And even after the collection of the PVC, where Lagos had the highest number of voters, more than 6 million.
Yes.
So yet, I think that also helped the Labour Party, that not many people came out to. Maybe if the APC or the atmosphere push people to more voters to come out, we may see a different result. Okay. But as now the things going, it can go other way. And I think Labour is giving APC a run for its money.
Thank you. It's interesting to have such a tight race in a state like Lagos, where the result, the race has not usually been tight.
Yeah, like exactly.
You said earlier, but the Lagos is also unique by having a large contingent of other Nigerians, apart from Yoruba and Igbo also.
Yeah.
You know, you yourself, you lived in Lagos for many years, and worked in Lagos for many years. So, but where does this tight race between Labour Party and APC, where does it leave other Nigerians? Some of whom some people say are in fact the majority. People from Niger Delta, you know, those from
the north,
the north, the north central region of northern Nigeria also, but also all over the country outside of these two, southwest and the southeast. So where do you think their votes are likely to go?
It's difficult to say now, but you see, Lagos has set up a unique system, because in the sense that over the years you found that the governance is inclusive. You find elements of Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa being in the cabinet. Yeah. and it has started with the president-elect Tinubu when he came, and subsequently Fashola, Akimbode, and the president. They all Ambode, yes, I'm sorry, Ambode, yes. And the president governor just told the line. But now, unfortunately, this is my problem with what is happening in Lagos. Before now, you found that Lagos used to be a model in terms of, they have a clear-cut program. The government has a clear-cut program which it implements. But as it now, even if whoever rules, it may is going to change what we may see in Lagos. So the other tribe may be the ones that these two groups will be wooing now to see how they can come over. Because to be honest, you have a large chunk of northerners who have made Lagos their home. They hardly even come to the north. Their children and grandchildren, they are in Lagos. The same thing with, as you said, the south and other parts of the country. So, but unfortunately, in this fight, it's just like a two-way fight between these two tribal groups. And that's the unfortunate thing we are having in Lagos. So even my fear is that even after the election, the government that comes in will be seen from this perspective. So unless you have somebody elected who is magnanimous, not only magnanimous, but development-oriented, who will forget the fight that brought him to before he got to the seat and focus on development. That's it. But I think for now, the other segment of the society may not play a big prominent role, but their role may not be as open as these two groups for now. But they also a force to be reckoned with. Yes.
Thank you. So yesterday there was a train crash.
Yes.
A train crashed into a BRT bus in Lagos, and the governor declared a 3-day warning, which you cited earlier, which is a first in Nigeria, for something like this to happen. Yeah. And then the governor says that, okay, we are going to mourn for 3 days, and so on. Surely that is a good example of what governance can look like if they are under pressure, from the opposition.
Yeah.
But he said that he will pose his own campaign, and then all other campaign activities in the state should also stop. Not just his own campaign, but the all other. Some people are feeling that, okay, this is a kind of political censorship of some kind. Just using the accident to stop the opposition from gaining ground during the campaigns, especially in light of INEC's postponement of rescheduling of the result for 1 week. How do you see that?
Or do you believe him? Or with other his political opponents believe him? Okay. I don't think, as you said, it is just a political gimmick to me. When I heard the story, I just laughed. Not only that 3 days, then flag would be fly at half mast today. And I think it happened. I think there was an accident during the presidential campaign, and the major parties said that, look, I think something happened either in Sokoto or Katsina. I can't remember, I recall. But the campaign is largely not going to rallies. They hardly hold rallies now.
Yes.
They move from one market to another. So that issue that he's going, I don't believe him. Because and I don't think even his political opponents will buy that. So they will go to the grassroots and be doing house-to-house campaigns and all that. So I don't think that will have any effect. And I believe Labour Party will not listen to him. PDP will not listen to him.
It's interesting because many people have... Lagos is a place where you've had many collapsed buildings in which
exactly
a number of people died.
Exactly.
Nobody goes to say, okay, we're giving public holiday.
Exactly, the synagogue, which even foreigners died.
Even foreigners.
Yeah, 2050 or
and now suddenly,
suddenly we are having 6 people also died. I'm not. Life was lost, but I don't think just a day before, there was this fire outbreak at Ajugule, one market in Ajugule, and all of them were there. Actually, the Labour Party candidate donated 15 million naira to that, and he was talking that, look, it was like, now they try to bring in politics into it, that it was even a deliberate, it was an arson. So we'll continue to see that. That's how when a Nigerian politician is desperate, he can do anything, I believe so.
Very interesting. Yeah. Thank you. We have a 2-minute news package on this very issue, where the current governor of Lagos State, Mr. Sanwo-Olu, addressed the people of the state in light of the train crash that happened there. Stay tuned.
So we have 85 passengers that were in the bus from the immediate triage, that was conducted, and to separate, various degrees of injuries. 42 were classified as moderate injuries. 29 are serious injuries. 8 are mild injuries. And unfortunately, we have recorded 6 fatalities. 2 were brought in dead from the site, and which was what last time first responders, talked about. LASUT will be collecting blood donors. So want to encourage the public who wishes to donate blood to come forward. And because the blood bank that we have, we could see that they've responded immediately very, very well. We are in good supply. We have more than enough blood to take care of all of the patients. But indeed, as is done everywhere, you need to restock back that bank. All our flags, Lagos State flags, political flags, should be raised at half mast for the next 3 days. We're actually also declaring a 3-day mourning for us as a state, so that we can mourn our staff very, very well, deeply, and we can have time to go around the family members and just commensurate with them.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at English squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back. Happily, this is Nigeria Decides 2023 on Trust TV, and we are talking about the outlook of the elections in the states. That is the second leg of the general elections for 2023, and 28 states. They will be voting in 28 states on March 18, in just about a week from now. And we're trying to look at how this map will look like, the electoral map will look like, especially in the light of the presidential election that was concluded on 25th February, just last month. I have with me in the studio our guest, second guest who's just arrived, Mr. Jide Ojo, who is a consultant and public affairs analyst and also a columnist for the Punch newspaper. You're welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me. Good evening, Nigerians. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. And still with us is Malam Yusuf Zango, who is former editor-in-chief of the News Agency of Nigeria and now opinion editor for Daily Trust. So welcome.
Thank you very
once
much.
again, everyone. Just before you came in, we were looking at a clip of the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, where he was talking about rolling out sort of freebies for the victims of those who died or were injured in the train attack, in the train accident yesterday. And before that, we were wondering the idea of 3 days mourning for 3 days mourning for the state, and then the pausing of campaigns, that he will stop his own campaign and stop the campaigns of all the other parties in the state. We wanted to make sense of that because it is new in the country for a governor to declare 3 days of mourning, particularly in a state where several accidents or several buildings have collapsed and even more casualties were recorded.
Again, this is a season of politics, and if there is one state that has turned to be a battleground, it is Lagos State. And Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for the very first time in 24 years, is quite uncertain of his victory. If it were to be tomorrow, but now he has 1 week of grace to pound the streets and do. And it's not only those that he did, 3 days of money, yes, but beyond that, he has also ordered the release of all impounded vehicles by last month. I saw a clip, I saw a picture where he was now, playing with the hair at a hairdressing salon. I'm happy about this 2023 election for one reason. Contestants have ceased to take the voters for granted. There are very few states where you can say the outcome is predetermined. So everybody is working hard to have victory on March 18. And this is very important for APC because they suffered a slight defeat overall in the national elections, and they want to recover lost ground. Right now, they are in control of 21 states. It used to be 22 until Osun was taken off them by PDP. So they want to maintain that 21 or even win more states to their fold. So they've got to do a lot more. And this is one of the ingenious ways by which Sanwo-Olu feels he needs to. And he has done so much. In terms of infrastructural development, he's done so much. But what's playing out now, ab initio, I was thinking the race is two-horse race between Sanwo-Olu incumbent and then the Jandor guy,
the
PDP guy. Because of Funke Akindele's personality in the Nollywood, and then appeal to the youth and all of that. But all of a sudden, we now have Gbadebo Rose Vivo. And the obedient movement is solidly behind him. The Igbos are solidly claiming him to be one of their own, being that the mother is Igbo and the wife is also Igbo. So that had even led to a lot of verbal attacks, a lot of voter intimidation. from the Yoruba group in Lagos who felt that, look, a vote for Gbadebo Rose-Vivo would be a vote for the Igbo. And if Igbo already dominated the commerce and industry in Lagos, if they should have the political power, then they will simply overrun the Yorubas in that place. And it's a genuine concern. You know, Lagos has been a cosmopolitan environment. What would never happen in other places had happened in Lagos. Lagos had witnessed non-Yorubas being appointed into cabinet position. Lagos has very hospitable and liberal worldview. If you have your money, you get a piece of land, you can build industry, you can build personal residences and all of that. You can't do that in Igbo land. You know, they will simply not, even if you have all this money, all the monies in the world, they are very circumspect selling their lands to strangers, so to speak. But because of the cosmopolitan nature of Lagos, I mean, I saw a video of one Igbo guy who very, very much on point, saying that, look, we are now the new owners of Lagos. He gave an analogy that if I rent an appointment from Alaji, is my landlord, so I pay rent to him, so he's the owner of property. But the day you sell that property to me, the table turned. You cease to be the landlord, I become the new landlord, and you cannot order me around any longer.
So the day they win political power, then everything falls simply because commerce industry, the Igbos control it in Lagos. So that dynamics is playing out politically, so much so that the atmosphere is very charged now, so much so that it's now a battle of titans, and the Jandor guy seems to have gone to the background. It's now a straight fight between, because the Gbadebo Rose-Vivo guy is having the NSAS youths and moving within the Labour Party obedient movement. So two things are working for Gbadebo: the youth and then the Igbos. Yes.
So, but for the incumbent, of course, we can also talk about what will be to his advantage, being one, Lagos, incumbency, the fact that Lagos will not want to be in opposition to the center, a fact that Sanwo-Olu is also a Christian, so you can't play the religious card. You can play the ethnic card, but you may not be able to play a religious card, because now I've seen the PFN Lagos chapter endorsing Sanwo-Olu. Even some Igbo Trader Association have endorsed him for their own safety, of course. No full well in case anything happens. So, you know, that seems to be the nature and character of politics in Lagos. And I have said the police and other security agents need to keep a very strict tab on what's happening in Lagos, because if there's an upset, that could be another way.
People are not expecting.
Yes, there could be another way starting from Lagos. So the factors, the variables, and people have said that if Sanwo-Olu survives this, he would know for the first time, because 2019 was like a walk in the park. It was like a walk in the park. But now he's earning every vote. Doing I wouldn't be surprised if, because I've also heard somewhere that
and he's also trying to look even more youthful now.
Now
wearing smart clothes,
so that he appeals to the youth. And he's also giving out freebies. I think he's giving out, someone said he has given out thousands of gas cylinder filled, you know, all manner of stuff. Even a couple of weeks back, before the election, he had food banks where food was distributed free for people. Then he also have cash points where you can get money at no interest. You can exchange old those for new ones without paying interest and all. So all manner of freebies have been dangled. But I think the situation in Lagos is very unpredictable.
Thank you very much. So, but it's interesting, Madam, that you reflected on quite a few of these issues earlier. But how important is it for the APC, you know, considering last week's, the previous presidential election, but also going forward, if the Supreme Court or, well, let's say if the courts eventually affirm the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, how important would it be for the APC and Sanwo-Olu to win this election in Lagos State?
It's not important for Sanwo-Olu. It's much more than that to me. It's more important to the president-elect. As you say, whether the court uphold his election or not, because he has always been identified as the owner of Lagos court, let me put it that way. Since you remember the battle he had in 2003, he was the only one who survived it. And since then, nobody has been able to challenge him. For him to lose to, not even to PDP, but a new party,
that sprang out of nowhere.
to a young man who, is even a grandchild to him, who never knew politics and all those kind of things. Just suddenly, within a space of 2 months, the tide has changed. I think, and he could just imagine if he is sworn in as president, going to Lagos to be received by a governor who is not APC. No, it is going to be a big. I think I see the president going back to going back to campaign for APC for this election.
So, as a final word on Lagos, before we move to other states, particularly another big gun, Kano. Just before we move to Kano, are we looking forward to seeing the president-elect or the next president becoming, arriving in Lagos, as Malam said earlier, and becoming like a tenant in his own backyard, because you now have a new sheriff in town. Are we just, 1 minute, are we looking forward to that in this election so far?
I'm not looking forward to that kind of upset for the singular reason that Sanwo-Olu has really tried in terms of keeping to the blueprint of Lagos and expanding the infrastructure. Recall that the Mr. President was in Lagos to commission the rail.
Performance is not really important in this election.
Performance is important, but may not be the single
factor. The narratives around the election.
The narrative around the election. See, in my opinion, last week on the February 25 election, I gave 5 reasons why APC lost Lagos.
Interesting.
And why Tinubu lost Lagos. The 5 reasons are ethno-religious factor, ethnicity, religion, the NSAS protest of 2020, the cash crunch and the fuel scarcity, and the non-support of Yoruba elders for Tinubu presidency. Those are the 5 factors.
They may not be replicated.
It's a different ballgame.
Okay.
The common enemy, the elite of Lagos are the people like Body George, people like Ayo Adebanjo, who openly endorse Peter Obi, the Afenifere group. The reason why they want APC to lose was because of Tinubu. They hate his God. They believe he's getting more powerful. He's too powerful, that he's a successful business politician. He has installed 5 presidents, several governors across West Africa. You won't be so shocked. Asiwaju is influential in installation of 6 West African sub-region presidents.
That's interesting.
From Grapevine. So his clout, his political clout goes beyond Nigeria.
Or Lagos.
So the envy factor is there. Well, is he the only one? Now he is a billionaire in dollars. He didn't organize any fundraiser, He's a billionaire in dollars. He has mentored so many successful godchildren, if I can put it that way. He's the most successful politician of 21st century Nigeria by every standard possible. So when you have all of this, and then you have enemy within, people who just hate your God for your success. Look at NSAS. The youth of Lagos went and touched TV Continental. And another hotel that they presume was owned by Tinubu, which turned out to have been owned by someone else. So those factors, but more importantly is the religious ethnicity. The Muslim ticket didn't resonate with them. There are every street of Lagos, there are Pentecostal churches.
Yes.
On a street, you can find 7, 8 churches. Yes. Most of them Pentecostals. Very few Orthodox, Catholic, Anglican, Presbyterian. No, you won't find them as many as the Pentecostals. So the battle cry in the Pentecostal churches across Lagos was, don't vote APC for that Muslim ticket.
Interesting.
That the fact that they ignored Christians in balancing the ticket, they should be made to pay for it. I mean, Bishop David Oyedepo came out.
So you're saying all of this will not play out in the governorship?
Now, it will not. So then the Igbo factor, you see Peter Obi going, he had mega rallies, 2 mega rallies in Lagos. After the last mega rally he had, he went to Alaba to appeal to his brothers and sisters trading in Alaba International Market. He went to Ladipo Market. He went to all the major markets in Lagos where there are Igbos and appealed to their sentiments. So now, what is the sentiments that will be at play now? It's not going to be ethnicity as such. And that's why the Yorubas in Lagos are trying to use that Igbo sentiments against Gbadebo. That look, this guy is an IPOB. They have already labeled him an IPOB. They have labeled him, in fact, they say he was an IPOB commander in 2016, 2017.
Whether it's true or not.
Whether it's true or not. They have also said that he supported materially the NSAS protest, that he provided them water and other stuff in 2020. So it's also part of those who wants to destroy Lagos. And then, so if you say you are a Christian, I'm also a Christian, so you can't play that religious card. And if you say the religious balance, Sanwo-Olu is a Christian, his deputy is a Muslim. So the balance was that. Then the incumbency factor and the fact that they don't want to be in opposition, because Labour has never been in opposition, so they don't want to be in opposition to a Asiwaju presidency. Of course, what makes politics a game of intrigues is expect the unexpected.
Yes.
It has also happened in Lagos in 1992, between when there was unresolved intra-party crisis in SDP, between Professor Femi Agbalajobi, Yomi Edu, and there is also another third party. So they could not resolve.
And the NRC.
Then NRC picked the ticket. And if you go back in time,
had won the election,
yes,
you would have had what
he would have had that scenario would have played out. And nobody gave Otedola, father of Femi Otedola, then Sir Michael Otedola was not given any chance in the election. But because of the intra-party wrangling, but there is no intra-party wrangling in Lagos APC, to my knowledge.
No.
There could be. But again, what will also make that upset impossible is this. APC currently dominates the Lagos State House of Assembly.
Okay.
And they have 40 members.
So their political fortuns also depend on...
Yes, because if you fail to vote for the governor, you may also be a casualty.
Absolutely.
So, as long as, even if you don't like someone, you make sure
you will like yourself.
You have to like yourself, because people will just vote across.
I think maybe we can use that to move to Kano, for example. So, Kano, that's another state where APC is currently ruling, but where NMPP, the opposition, one of the other opposition parties, is also showing, has shown a strong force. The case of the NMPP is even peculiar in a little, in an interesting way, in the sense that for the NNPP, the battle is first and foremost Kano. The entirety, or you would say maybe 90% of the interest is in Kano. Then the remaining 10% they share for presidential and other interests. I'm sure they would disagree with this characterization, but that's what the results show at the end of the day after the presidential elections. They haven't produced even a House of Reps, not to my knowledge, anywhere outside of Kano. They had 14 or 15 in Kano. Somewhere, you know, but quite a few.
Very few.
Very few. So how do you think Kano is going to be like, given that it also has relevance for the presidency, for whoever is president as well, in the same way as Lagos?
This afternoon I was talking to a friend. He said if he had a way, he would suggest that where elections take place in all other states except Kano, maybe it should be given a special consideration. Really, it's for Kano, it's a battle of ego and wit. You know, when you look at the antecedents between Ganduje and Kwankwaso, Ganduje used to be the deputy of Kwankwaso, both in 1999. When they lost the election in 2003, he moved in with Kwankwaso as his special assistant as when he was defense minister here. So, and Kwankwaso was credited by standing by Ganduje to ensure that he became the governor after him. You know, he supported him, even so when some people felt, look, they should look for some. I think Kano was one of the few states. I think Kano and Zamfara were the few states where you had the deputy succeeding his governor. So over time they parted ways, and I think for Kwankwaso, he lost out narrowly in 2019, and he wouldn't like a repeat for that. You are very right. No matter what anybody will say about it, for Kwankwaso, Kano is anything, everything. And I said it here, apart from Kano, you move to Jigawa, Kwankwaso will not win anything.
Move to Katsina, another neighboring state.
Just even to speak about Jigawa, because Jigawa and Kano used to be the same state.
Yes.
And it's still many prominent sons of Jigawa live in Kano. They just go to Jigawa. But if he moves to Jigawa, he doesn't have much influence. So he sees Kano as the only thing that he can hold. And as we said earlier here, that look, he also stands to use Kano as his bargaining chip for future, because now he had about 1 million votes.
1.49 million.
No, in Kano,
about 900,000.
Yeah. So in 2027, you tell anybody who's looking for president, look, I can even deliver 2 million, because things would have changed. So for him to lose Kano, and you know, the Nigerian politics, once you are not in power, you are going to lose out almost in everything. You'll find that soon after the swearing-in ceremony, your friends whom you have been struggling will move to the other side because they know they will benefit more there. So for Kwankwaso, I think either he gets Kano or he loses everything. He wouldn't mind if he has lost this 1.4 million votes and get Kano. That's my feeling. I know. Now, and for Ganduje, also, it's like he wants to prove something. Look, all along I have not been a Kwankwaso boy. I have defeated him once in 2019, and I think I can do that now. So it's going to be a very tough fight. And well, unlike Lagos, there is no religious card to play. There is no ethnic card. So I think it will be a battle of wit, and again, unfortunately, maybe a battle of violence.
We hope that.
We hope that it doesn't happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Jide, how do you see? Do you see NNPP winning in Kano next week, given their strong showing in the presidential election, but also taking into consideration that Kano is a unique place politically in Nigeria. There are other candidates. It's not a straight fight between APC and an NNPP as it may appear. Because for the governorship elections, there are other candidates that are equally strong, at least on paper.
Okay, it's good that you said on paper.
Honorable Shaban Sharada.
People like
you also have Sheikh Khalid of the ADC, who is also widely popular. I was in Kano a few weeks ago, moderated a debate there, and a lot of people were saying that why wasn't Sheikh Khalid even included in the debate, because he also has quite a large following. So do you see NNPP coming out on top?
Well, it's not impossible given their showing at the presidential election. However, it's a different kettle of fish when it gets to state elections, because what will be at play is the control of the State House of Assembly as well as the state government. And it all depends on whether there are internal wranglings within NNPP or whether they come as a very strong force. Shekarao's defection to and out of NNPP speaks volume. Today, the Supreme Court has said he wasn't senator-elect. Of course, I don't expect he will lay claim to that seat, having publicly said he has defected. But something must have led him to leave.
Yes.
And I believe someone like Shekarao, someone like Kabiru Gaya.
And Shekarao were just in a meeting earlier today. It was on social media.
Actually, they were a funeral.
The Kabiru Gaya that lost out in the senatorial election, we don't know who is going to pitch his tents with. So I foresee Kano being inconclusive on the first ballot. It's like what happened in Sokoto now. The three senatorial seats, none of them was concluded on the first ballot, which is a strong showing between APC and PDP. And in fact, this afternoon I was studying the seats declared so far for the Senate. And I see a lot of political sophistication by the voter. Look at Nasarawa. Nasarawa produced two SDP and one PDP senator. But Labour Party won overall vote.
Yes.
And
the APC governor is there.
And in the state where you have APC governor. So even in Abia was very interesting. They have three senators under three parties.
Yes.
Abga. One is Labour Party.
APC, exactly.
You get, but for presidential, it was Labour. So if people can display that level of, even Kaduna here, two PDP, one.
I think three PDP senators.
Three PDP senators. So you have this dynamism, and Kano happens to be very unpredictable. Like Alhaji said, 2019, Kwakwaso lost narrowly. In fact, it is believed that victory was orchestrated for Ganduje. That having lost, it was a kind of not to have a double jeopardy. I think, what was it, Lagos that was traded or something. But the point is, a lot is at stake. A lot is also not at stake. Ganduje's fate is secured under Tinubu's presidency. He will get a ministerial slot.
At least.
So he is settled. Not the least, because he delivered.
He delivered.
He could not win overall, but he made sure that APC came very good, strong second. Even pushing PDP to the third. You get
even higher than what the same APC got in Lagos.
In Lagos.
In terms of
so he has proven his point, and I'm very sure Jagaban will compensate him for that. But like my elder here said, it's about ego, it's about political future. Kwakwanso wants to hold on to Kano to be able to use it as a launch pad, not even bargaining chip now, as a launch pad for his 2027 ambition.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yes, because if he's able to control Kano, knowing full well that Atiku will not be on the ballot in 2027, Atiku has gotten his bus stop.
Yeah.
Whatever is
Let's say maybe.
Presidency-wise, no 80-year-old man will want to come and rule Nigeria. Even at 76, he's considered to be an ancestor.
Exactly.
So how could you now say you want to still come? Yes, now.
But the thing is, within the presidential election actually shows something, that Atiku is now, in fact, the undisputable leader of the PDP right now.
Yes.
Because the PDP that actually did very well in this election, because it won states that it previously lost in the last 2019 election. It won states like Kaduna, won states like Gombe, states like Yobe, and so on
But don't put it to that alone, sir.
Okay.
You know why? It is APC.
So if he has interest to contest in 20...
No, he won't have that chance.
Okay.
He won't have that chance. I can bet it. He won't have that chance. See, it is being on the ballot in 2023 that led to the loss of PDP.
Yeah, they would have won.
They would have won.
They would have won.
If they feel that Peter Obi, you get, that was a running mate to him in 2023. And they have a very strong, VP from the north. They will have won if he throws his weight behind. But you see, the disintegration of PDP, and may I say new PDP,
the G5.
No, not the G5. The new PDP after they lost in 2015.
Okay.
You know, the reason why that party hemorrhage was because the Southerners felt disenchanted that Atiku took their chance.
Yeah.
That the chance of the South, if APC and PDP had produced Southern candidates, they would have won. Because a Peter Obi will have locked down Southeast and South-South.
But some people will say he still won two southern states, three states in the south.
Atiku?
In fact, yes.
Yeah.
He won in Oshun. He's in the south. He won in Bayelsa. He's in the south. He won in Akwa Ibom. He's in the south, you know. And then I don't know.
But he lost in Delta. He lost in Edo.
But that is
presidential.
And that is even in a race that is a four-way race or a three-way race.
But I was not surprised that he won in Bayelsa. I was not surprised that he won in Bayelsa, given the antecedents of that terrain. You know, I think Bayelsa will always go PDP. You know, will go PDP.
But they have a strong governorship, APC governorship candidate there.
No,
aspirants.
Yes, aspirant.
Just to represent.
Yes, but that's an election that is coming up at a later time. So maybe let's move to Adamawa, for example, since we were talking about Atiku, where another state that is also interesting in its own right, where among all the 36 states you have a woman represented at the top of a major political party for the governorship election in a state. Now you have APC there. They are in opposition, the major opposition, but the PDP is the ruling party. Senator Aisha Binani is, reported to have quite a lot of strong grassroots support base. But she comes up again, and even in her primaries, she showed this support base by defeating three strong men, including a former governor, an immediate past governor who was governor only 4 years ago. And then again, she comes up against a governor who is also one of the, how do I put it, the relationship between Sanwo-Olu and Tinubu, for example, is similar to what you have between Fintiri and Atiku Abubakar in that state, So it is just as Lagos would be important for Tinubu to deliver, Adamawa will be important to Atiku to deliver. So how do you see that race playing out?
I would think the people of Adamawa may actually vote APC. You know why? They knew it would have been a different kettle of fish if Atiku had been the president-elect. Okay. Then they would say, let's not belong to opposition.
When the president is from our state.
So the president is from our state. But now Atiku has lost out. And it wouldn't seem like even the court may be able to retrieve anything in court, although that's too early to say. But I feel that for APC to have won that state in 2015 and lost it because of certain discretions of Jubilee Bindo, now having a frontline female candidate who was able to demonstrate her political sagacity and savviness in the primaries, and who also enjoys a lot of grassroots support. If the party is united behind her, I believe she can pull a surprise. And I look forward to that. I look forward to that for the singular reason that Nigeria has never produced a female governor, elected governor. We have only had an acting governor. Whereas Kenya, in the August 2022 election, Kenya produced 6 female governors. 6 from 3 in 2017. Kenya now has 6 female governors. So I believe it's a state to watch, but it also depends on performance of Intiri. As it performed to the satisfaction of the people of Adamawa.
Not to interrupt you, but Madam, he says if the party are united behind her. For many observers of Adamawa APC politics, some people will have doubts about whether there is such a unity within the APC, at least at that state level. You observe that it was President Buhari with whom she campaigned, rather than even the president-elect. Tinubu, one of her major, opponents in the primaries, Tinubu is very close to the president-elect, but they are not in good times. Even challenged the election, until at some point the case was withdrawn in court. But then there is also the politics of the nature of Adamawa being also in terms of the religious coloration. It is a state where you have, at least a sizable minority that is LP inclined. They voted Peter Obi in the presidential election, but there is no guarantee that, they voted PDP in the presidential election because, of course, Atiku is from there, and a lot of people know him from around there. Bone Haruna and all these people, they are his people, and they did their work and they delivered for him in that place. But the Labour Party candidate has come out to say, okay, they have teamed up with the APC candidate. So how do you see all of these factors playing out for or against Binani?
I think the major factor that will work for her is that unity of APC. If you remember, Nur Rubato went to court after the primary. It was much later. Even when there was a ruling that the primary should be run again, but he was prevailed upon to give up. Even after that, you remember there was also a problem when they set up the presidential campaign council.
Yes.
She had to say, okay, I've given up on that. So it shows that there is so much disunity within the APC group. Unless they have been able to, or they are able to amend or to bring everybody together, that may work against her, because you find it's not going to rally that much. If you see people being at the rally, they may be aiming at one thing, maybe even the television camera. That will be and show you that I have worked for you. Tomorrow they will show it as evidence that I did that. But what they go out to do behind the candidate's back says more than what they do in front of him. And that's the major problem I see her facing. And the other problem, even with that Atiku being defeated, he would still like to bring back a PDP in his home state. At least he will be different from the president, the incumbent president, why he lost the Katsina, Tinubu lost Lagos. So he will go out to say, look, I won my state as a presidential candidate. Now I'm winning my state as a governor for the governor. So I think Minani, I don't know really how much is happening now, but she has a lot of work to do within the next 1 week to see that nobody stabbed her in the back. There may be that cultural factor may play.
The idea that she's
a female,
but
given her
governorship is an executive position rather than a senatorial legislative one.
Yes. Given her grassroots influence and support, she may win over that problem she may be facing. So if she is able to bring everybody in the APC together, I see her winning.
Interesting.
And it's also a factor of whether PDP in Adamawa is also united. Because what we don't know at Abuja level is what is the local politics at play.
Yes.
Many people after the primaries are disenchanted. Then the issue of governance, how well the incumbent has performed. You know, the reason why Jubrila Bindo lost was as a result of a lot of factors, performance, indiscretion, and all of that. And it was very unfortunate because that place had been PDP state from time, but they were able to win it in 2015. Unfortunately, they couldn't replicate that. So it depends. And then if the Labour Party is teaming with APC, what are they bringing to the table? How much? Because these alliances, to my own mind, is induced and it's transactional.
It may not go beyond the signing.
And all these promises of sharing of offices and all of that. So how much of conviction can you give the electorate about... I would be thrilled to have a first female governor coming from northern Nigeria, which is
quite interesting.
Which is considered to be conservative. You understand? Yeah. So it would be nice to have that glass ceiling, more so after the effort of Mama Taraba in 2019, which she almost came close. I think it's that the loss that she couldn't survive. So I look forward to that in Adamawa. And if the minorities team up with her, the women team up with that, the youths team up with that, they will defeat Fintiri. It's not because it's about the people behind you. I mean, look at all the upsets that have been recorded in the upsets that were recorded in this election. You find that it's about people are now sophisticated to audit and vote different candidates, even in the same election. So they are now able to look at you in the face and say, what are you bringing to the table? No, you have not performed, you've not done. And then the youth's involvement in this election, the women involvement, if the women only team up to say, this is one of our own, we are pushing her, the youth are pushing her. So that demography, those two demographies, if they support her massively, the fact that she's a sitting senator also speaks volume, because it means that she's battle
senatorial, which is one third
of the state. Or like Mama Taraba, who didn't have that advantage to her. So a lot would depend on whether the party has been united, they have resolved their whatever issues arising from the primaries, and then whether the opposition also is in disarray. So I think Adama may want to go national to say, look, if we vote Fintiri, that means we are still in opposition for another 4 or 8 years. So why don't we go national and let's produce the first female governors? Those sentiments, believe you me, Doc, it's not what wins election is sentiment.
Absolutely.
It's sentiment. If you are able to
driven,
it's emotion driven. Look at Brexit in UK.
Yes, it's an emotion driven.
They rally the emotion. After they left, they start. Should we have left?
In fact, the most interesting thing about that is that on the morning after the Brexit people, the vote leave won the country. the most searched for term on Google for the next 1 week was
Brexit.
What is Brexit?
What is Brexit? No, that is people don't even understand.
After the election,
They didn't even know what it was.
So it's like, what have we done?
Yes.
After you've done it.
If she is able to rally the youth, the women, those two demographics form over 60% of the voting population. And then her performance as a senator comes into play.
Yes.
She's an engineer by profession. So our professional colleagues
so
also
she's actually been in the field of men.
Yes, in male-dominated spaces.
Engineering is also another space dominated by men.
So at least the fact that PDP was able to defeat APC in 2015, despite Atiku being from that place, and despite Atiku,
Atiku was in APC.
Yes, Atiku was in 2015. Yes, Atiku was in. So sentiments and all of that.
Maybe we can swing to another interesting place from here, which is this time around in Southeast Enugu State, because there you have a star candidate, Frank Nweke, but who happens to be in a party that only yesterday would have been very good. In the Southeast, APGA as an alternative party in the Southeast to the PDP in the Southeast. That same state voted Labour Party in the presidential election, and also the senators, I think, at least the current governor who is in PDP, he lost his own bid for the senator. Under the PDP, he lost it to an APC, an LP candidate. So how do you see the election playing out in Enugu between these three major parties now: PDP, Labour Party, and APGA? Of course, no one will be talking about APC in Enugu.
Well, for me, I think given the level of sophistication of what we have seen, Labour Party may not do very well in the governorship.
Okay.
The sentiments of Peter Obi, own boy, let's vote an own boy, will not be there. It's lost until whatever the court says. So I feel that Frankie Nweke Jr. may nick it for Enugu. But for APGA, because they still believe APGA is their own.
It's the local.
It's the local.
They set it up.
They set it, and it should go beyond Adam. It should go beyond Anambra to Enugu, which is contiguous. And then the same sentiment of Ojukwu will come very. Look at Yinaya Baribe now. He was able to win. He was a PDP senator in the Nice Assembly.
Exactly.
Now he moved to APGA and he was able to win. So people will not see. I think the performance of Labour Party in the forthcoming election will reduce. The fortune, their political fortune will reduce considerably.
Across the
entire country. Across the entire country and across the Southeast. Because that own boy support, Peter Obi will not be on the ballot. And so people will start coming back to reality. So let's come back to the roots. APGA is our own. This one was just a special purpose vehicle to move one of our own to Abuja. Now, the vehicle is stuck in the mud, and they don't know what will become of it. It may yet be another 4 years. And what is the assurances that Peter Obi will still be in Labour Party for another 4 years? He has left APGA for PDP, from PDP to Labour. So he's looking for platform, just like Atiku Abubakar has been shopping from one party to another. So that emotion will most likely not be there. People are going to audit and see which of these is the best candidate. I've seen Aisha Yesufu openly countering Peter Obi. Because Peter Obi was seeking support for
the. She's a Labour Party spokesperson.
Said, no. Let's not do disobedient movement blindly.
At the state level.
Frankie Nweke is my choice. So it tells you that the obedience movement it's just like what the movement behind Buhari in 2003, 2007, 2011, that, you know, when the first round of election, they would do very well. The moment the presidential election, you see every other thing disintegrate.
So because we don't have more time, I want to consider a few more states.
Okay.
Maybe we can take all of them at once. But I like that analysis that Labour Party is unlikely to perform similarly as it did, because the dynamics have changed. You know. But how do you think the idea of structure or no structure that people have been talking about regarding the Labour Party, whether it will have an impact in their performance throughout these governorship elections? Because in many of the state houses of assemblies, you know, that down ballot, they don't even have any candidates at all, you know, in many of these elections. But if you look at states like Plateau, Nasarawa, and also Gombe, you know, we can look at these three states because they are like Siamese triplets right now. And of course, even Benue. How do you see the election happening in these four states, you know? But maybe before you answer, we would still like our viewers to know that they are still part of this discussion, and our lines are open and they can call in to make a contribution or ask their questions. Thank you as our discussion continues. So you have Benue, Plateau, Gombe, and of course Nasarawa states. All of these states are contiguous, because what Mr. Gideon just said about the Labour Party actually summarizes what we can expect from much of the southeast and the south-south, right?
Yeah,
you know that, you know, because that's where Labour Party is the only game changer in those areas. So he's already done with that. Yes.
Yeah, I see an upset in Benue. I think the APC will come in. They are lucky to have a popular candidate. I know you remember the Reverend. His primary was annulled, but he went back and got his ticket. And I was talking also to a friend in Makadi the other day. He said that they are tired of, they were tired of PDP, or particularly the incumbent governor. So it's likely to have a change, maybe to go back to APC. For Nasarawa, it is dicey, because in Nasarawa there was so much sentiment, and that sentiment worked against the APC. It's not that a factor of the governor not being able to do anything. So I will tell, and there isn't any strong governorship candidate in Nasarawa, if you can think of. Or other in the PDP, it used to be.
So will that give the current governor an edge?
An edge to me. It gives him an edge. The people like Labara Mako are not contesting, and so forth and so forth.
Gombe and Plateau.
Gombe and Plateau. Gombe is going to be a very dicey one, in the sense that they have lost the presidency, and they have strong people contesting for the governorship in the NNPP, PDP, and APC. And the kingmaker there, people don't know why he's gone.
Actually, Danjuma Goje.
Danjuma Goje.
He won the election.
He won the election,
but
it is almost clear that he's not behind the governor.
Okay.
That's the problem the governor will have there. And you know, Danjuma has always been a kingmaker since he emerged as a governor there. Has always been.
It's like we have a caller.
Okay.
You can tell us, welcome to Nigeria Decides on Trust TV. Just go ahead, tell us your name and where you are calling from, and then make your contribution or ask a question. You're much welcome.
My name is Hamza Ibrahim.
Okay, you are calling from?
I am calling from Kano.
Okay, go ahead, Hamza Ibrahim.
Well, I would like to say thank you very much to all of you, the presenter and of course the commentators. I must admit I have actually learned a lot from their balanced and objective analysis. We hope you will keep them coming to the studio to educate us, especially on issues happening at state. I think this is very educative. I like the commentary by all the commentators. I must commend Trust TV for this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hamza. Thank you. This is quite welcome feedback.
Yes. So, yes. As I was saying, I think much depends on. I see Gombe also being a very dicey place. I wouldn't take my or bet on any party. But maybe the incumbent factor will, and it depends on how much the current governor is able to bring in.
But the incumbent factor didn't help in the presidential election.
No, that's different, because if you can look at it, it's the same thing that happened in Yobe.
Yes.
You know, they have everything to go, yet PDP won the presidential election there. So I don't look at it, because they said all politics is local. So now we are going to see the local aspect of it. But in Gombe, they have, as I said, they have strong governorship candidates in the NMPP, PDP, and APC. And hopefully, I think maybe Gojo will come in, and I'm not giving it all to him, but I think he's a factor that.
We have a caller. I would like you to go off on Plateau from where Malam stops. But we have a caller now. Tijani from, we have a caller from Lagos. Please tell us your name and go ahead and make your contribution.
Okay. My name is Tijani Saleh.
Okay, Tijani Saleh, well, you're welcome to.
From Lagos.
Okay, go ahead, please. Yes.
Yeah, actually, we are going to see a lot of surprises in this governorship election, because the new boy on the block, Peter Obi, and his party, the Labour Party, if anybody is looking out to see the kind of surprises he put in the presidential election to be repeated in the governorship election, is going to be in a big shock. Because what happens is that Obi, the person, attracted that kind of traction in the presidential election. Now Obi is not on the ballot. It is the individual candidates who are contesting under the Labour Party that the electorate are going to face. And most of those candidates did not actually have that kind of traction that Obi have on Labour Party. So certainly, two things is going to happen. The momentum that the Labour Party and Obi have during the presidential election is already been lost in this extension. This extension, what it does is that it gives the other candidate a leverage to campaign and take the matters very, very seriously and face those other candidates, especially in the Labour Party and in states where the governors are, for instance, APC or PDP. So definitely there's going to be a lot of surprises, and it's going to be very interesting. We'll be looking forward to it.
Thank you very much, Tijani Saleh from Lagos. Thank you for your contribution, which we will just take a look at in the context of Plateau State. He is saying that the traction that Obi had in the presidential election, just like you said earlier, is not likely to be repeated, has already been spent, because the extension of the election date will even give the candidates of the other parties an opportunity to hammer their own campaigns home and maybe age a bit out. How do you think this will play out in Plateau State particularly? I'm sure you know why we are focusing on Plateau.
Yes, for a good reason. Will Simon Lalong be able to deliver a successor?
Yes.
It's very important, but how united is APC in Plateau? I believe the win that Labour has in Plateau was a fluke because of the majority Christian population in Plateau. So the amber of discord that the likes of Babachi Alawa, Yakubu Dogara, and Daniel Bwala, you know, all these people strongly condemn Muslim tickets. You recall that's the price you pay. Recall that even when Simon Allen was made the DG of PCC of APC, his people say he should reject it. That as a knight of Catholic Church is not supposed to be seen in the company of somebody, a party of Muslim. So that's the price he has to pay by losing that state. But you see, the eyes are clear now.
We have another caller from, tell us your name, where you are calling from, please. Do we still have the caller?
Hello.
Hello, yes, go ahead. Just tell us your name briefly and then where you are calling from, and then make your contribution or ask a question. Welcome to Nigeria Decides.
I also thank you so much for the program you bring here.
Thank you.
I'm calling from Benue State in Shogulu government. My names are Simon Abu.
Thank you, Simon. Go ahead.
Yeah. I also thank you so much for this program. The issue of presidential teacher calling Obi or Peter Obi. Peter Obi is pulling up. He pulled up that vote because the four presidential candidates are from the three presidential candidates are from Muslim. They are Muslim tradition. The Peter Obi falls being a Christian. That is the one makes many people went and voted for a Christian. Because all the Muslim tickets, APC was having Muslim, PDP was having Muslim, and Congress one from a Muslim. So there was no indication that the
Simon,
the three candidates being a Muslim.
Simon, if I may interrupt you a little.
Contributed with the Christian. So that is why the Obi have gotten that. Excuse me. That was where Obi was getting that matter. Coming to the governor, the governor cannot get it because they was only doing it for the religion. People from PDP voted for APC, voted Obi. People from APC voted for Obi. People from other parties voted for Obi. But coming to a governorship, nobody will do that.
So Simon,
you are voting APC because of your own father.
Simon, if I may ask you,
the governor is starting now in PDP. He suffer people a lot. He's not paid salary. He's not paid
so if I may ask you, Simon, do you think the Labour Party will win in Benue State, where you are calling from?
So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. So if I may ask you, Simon, are you there with us?
I'm there.
Okay. If I may ask you, do you think the Labour Party candidate in your state will win in Benue State, where you are coming from? Where you are calling from?
Not at all. Not.
Okay.
Not.
All right. So thank you very much. Thank you.
So like we said,
yes.
This is the day after. The day after is the day of reality.
Yeah.
It's like the honeymoon is over for obedient. For me, in large part, the honeymoon is over for the obedient movement. Maybe it can be revved up in 2026, whatever. But you see, it's a different ball game when you are looking, when a party is built around one individual. One individual.
Who is not going to be on the ballot.
On the ballot this time around. And they sheepishly didn't have candidates in many of the states.
Yeah.
Very important.
Did you know, Doc, what I learned in Delta North, people just voted Labour. They didn't know Labour didn't have candidates. They didn't even realize that Labour did not have a senatorial candidate in the Delta North. So the PDP guy ended up inheriting that victory, Nadine Woko. You get so
because he's the second.
He's
next.
the second.
Yeah. So he didn't win, but won still.
He didn't win, but he won because the person who
won through defeat. That's interesting.
And the period of nomination of candidates has been over. So you cannot say, we can get somebody.
Officially, Labour Party has no candidate.
And you know what we even transpired, and I'm saying this on public television. The reason why Labour will not do well in many states is because they don't even have the resources and they don't have the personality.
Yeah, the persons.
So they were just begging people, come and take tickets. I'm sure many of them didn't pay money for nomination.
Even Lagos, that what happened.
They were just looking for anybody that is. So how do you think somebody who was a keke rider or bus driver would have won House of Rest position if not for the sake of the movement? Look at the Reti Kengibe phenomenon in FCT.
Yes.
You know, will you say it was because of money? The same way people won in 2015 using the name of Buhari. That's the same way people won in 2023
for Labour
using
Party.
the name of Obi, not Labour.
Okay.
They didn't even know. People are just asking which one is Peter Obi's party.
Yes.
And many of the people who did that are Christians who have been told by Christian Association of Nigeria, have been told by Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria that they should not vote APC because of Muslim. I mean, I recollect that the Pastor Sarah of what's the name of this church here read a communication by Khan that to all churches that they must ensure that they don't vote Muslim, and no, they didn't say don't vote APC, but they said a party that
you, or maybe we can take a call. We have Gambo on the line. Welcome to Nigeria Decides on Trust TV. Tell us where you are calling from, and then make your contribution or ask a question. Thank you.
Exactly. My point is that how sure about the results of the presidential that led them to suspend the election. We don't hear anything about it.
Can you take it again?
I said, how sure are we now in this Nigeria? The results concerning the presidential election.
Okay.
They told us that they've not uploaded it and.
Okay. Thank you very much, Gambo. Thank you.
And they now suspend.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. So it's a tangential question, but it's still part of the overall election issues, which is what we are discussing here on Nigeria Decides 2023 on Trust TV. He's asking what is the fate of the presidential election results now? You know, what is to be done? What should a voter like Gambo, we missed where he was calling from, a voter like Gambo, what should they do now?
You know what? They should just wait for the outcome of the legal battle. The issue of uploading of results, I believe all the results must have been uploaded by now.
It has.
The last time, I think, that was last week, late last week, they said 92% uploaded. But see, whether it's uploaded or not, naturally, every party that faces polling agent has an official copy of that result with him or her.
From every polling unit, it's mandatory you get.
Yes.
Which is why I've always encouraged that, please, if you're a serious candidate, make sure you have your agent. Because Electoral Act says every agent should be issued a copy of the ECAT form. It is that ECAT form that is scanned and uploaded on the IRF. So whether the entire result is there on IRF or not, IRF is just providing another layer of transparency so that you can now compare what your agent gave you vis-a-vis what is uploaded, and then you can detect fraud. But Gambo should be rest assured that the judiciary will do the needful, provided the opposition is able to prove beyond reason, because it's a criminal allegation. When you say you are rigged, you have to be able to prove it's a crime. You know, and that's the challenge with when you make allegations. Recall that the case of was the case of President of the Senate versus the other guy that held the ticket shortly before the election.
No, okay,
Bachina alleged fraud.
Well, I had to interrupt you, but once we open the lines, the callers have.
But it's good to have their views.
So we have a caller from Yola. Tell us your name and then go ahead and make your contribution or ask a question.
Good evening, Suleiman.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you.
I'm calling from.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Honestly speaking, the voting pattern of the election that took place previous week was based on religion. Let me give you an example. As Ajay was saying, no doubt about it. In Adama, where Labour Party candidate got vote,
okay,
is predominantly habited by Christians.
Numan, yes.
You know, because of Numan people have predominantly Christians. Yeah. And when you went to movie side, it's also Christian that voted for it. So even the candidate, when he came for on campaign.
Interesting.
Suleiman will be that he has never gone anywhere, even the state capital. We went directly to Numan and Moody with the former AGO. So predominantly this level has introduced something that I think at the end of the day would not go well for us in this country. Basic religion, basic politics or religion. And that's why you see, if you look at the scenario where Labour Party mostly it was Christian dominated areas that the candidate got vote. I would like to thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, our dear caller from Adama there. Unfortunately, we couldn't get your name. Thank you. So he is saying that even the campaign of the Labour Party candidate, presidential candidate during the elections were sort of imbalanced, divisive as he put it. That Numan and Mobi, Michika areas in Adamawa, for anyone familiar with the region, they are predominantly Christian, but the candidate went there, he didn't campaign at all in other areas, even in the state capital, which is the norm. People hold rallies in state capitals and so on. So, Madam, how do you
say actually that? It's quite unfortunate that what we will keep or what we will be thinking of this election are these two predominant things. Ethnic and religious biases, and I think what remains is for us to reflect. As he said earlier, most of us voted on sentiment. So maybe after everything is done, we should sit down and reflect and see whether this is really going to take us anywhere as a nation, and it's very important.
Thank you. Just before you finish, yes, Bashir from Zaria. Welcome to Nigeria Decides 2023 on Trust TV, and we are here to hear your opinion or your question. Go right ahead.
Thank you. I really want to share my opinion with regards to the election just concluded. That is the presidential election.
Okay.
Like one of my brothers said, the issue of allegation against the APC by the PDP and the Labour Party is a matter of evidence and proof before the court. So I want to call on Nigerians to calm down, allow the parties that allege to prove before the court. And if there are material evidence before the court, of course, we believe in our judiciary, the right thing will be done.
Okay.
Let me quickly make comment with regard to the manner of campaign, particularly by the Labour Party. It is true that Nigeria is a diverse country. Different religions, tribes, and ideology. It is based on this that I want to advise the Labour Party to change their pattern of campaign, particularly in next coming elections. You cannot go and solicit for vote from
on a particular segment and neglect the other segment and expect to win elections in a country like Nigeria, it doesn't work that way. Let me give you an example, Suleiman. Northern Nigeria is predominantly Muslim area. You cannot neglect the majority in the north here and expect to win an election in this side. We should tell ourselves the truth. We all know I am from the north, Kaduna State, Zaria specifically.
Yes.
Mr. Suleiman, in my local government during the 2016 election, I think, gave President Muhammadu Buhari the highest vote in all the local government areas in Nigeria. So how can you neglect this kind of areas and expect that you win an election in a country like Nigeria? It will never work. I want to call on our politicians, not only both parties, to drop the issue of sentiment, whether religion, tribe, or anything. Work hard. Have these structures from the grassroots. Work hard. Campaign well. Sell your ideologies to the voters. If you do that, of course the voters will vote for you. But if you decide to choose a particular segment, and you now come out and say you have won election simply because you have 1, 2, 3 polling units from the area in which there are supporting you, you can never win an election in Nigeria by that. Whether we like it or not, the northern Nigeria matters in election in Nigeria, and for anybody election in this country, it has to come down and bow to the north. Let me use this word, worship the north in order to win an election in this country. Thank you very much, Mr. Suleiman.
Thank you very much, Bashir from Zaria there. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your contribution, which I'm sure our panelists here will comment. Yes.
I'll rest my case with what he said.
Okay. You don't have anything to add?
No, definitely, because that's a major problem with our politicians. They always look for the easy way out, and they always work on our sentiment. As we all agree, in Lagos now, unfortunately, we are not looking at the performance of the governor. We are looking at the
issues of religion and ethnicity and things like that.
Yeah,
and it does not all go well.
It doesn't.
For the country.
Yeah.
But you were talking about Plateau State.
Yes. Again, the Plateau is a dicey situation. We do not know. I don't think Labour will do very well in Plateau in the coming election. The obedient movement, the vote Christian sentiments will not apply, because almost all the candidates will be Christians. It now depends on how united the political family is. Again, I'm not discounting the fact that they could have presented the best candidate, put the best candidate forward. Because let me quickly say this. Abia may present a different scenario in Southeast. The Labour Party candidate, Alex Oti, may actually win Abia governorship election. He lost narrowly in previous election
based on his own popularity.
Now being on a platform that resonates with the Southeasterner, Alex Oti may just win Abia.
One more caller from Nasarawa, Jidoti. If I get your name correctly. If I didn't, just tell us your name and go ahead. Yes.
All right, sir. I really want to ask. Yes, sir. The problem we are facing today with election in Nigeria, I keep asking myself, why is it that they no longer hold local government election, that they are imposing people on us? Like in Benue, Otukpo precisely, the local government chairman we are having today, they did not do the election. The councillor we are having today, they did not do election. And it is through this councillor and the local government that the government can reach to the grassroots. So if those people are imposed on the citizen, how will the government reach the grassroots? So begging this television, this station, to help us talk to the government so that they will do what will help us. Because it is via the councillor and the local government chairman, they can know our problems.
Thank you very much, Jidoko.
If people have something to talk about this, we'll be very, very happy.
Thank you very much for your contribution, Jidoko. But just before you go, let me ask you this question. Do you have an interest to stand for election at the local government level anytime soon?
Sorry?
Do you have an interest to stand for election at the local government level in your state, Nasarawa, anytime soon?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much and wish you all the best. Thank you for coming on. He raised an important question for elections and Nigerian democracy more broadly. We have just about 3-4 minutes to wrap up the program, but I think there's enough time for each of you to have a final words about the local government level, because it's almost becoming like a non-existent level of government in Nigeria, except in the constitution. Other than in the constitution, it's almost like we don't have a local government. Yes,
let me quickly say this. It's very unfortunate that Peter Obi, that wants to be the president of Nigeria, never contested any local government level, local government election in the 8 years he stayed as the governor of Anambra State. In fact, that was why he had a fight with Victor Ume, who luckily now they are the same in Labour Party. But look at Asiwaju in Lagos. Asiwaju has ensured that there is local government election in Lagos every 4 years. In fact, it is only Lagos that has 4-year tenure for local government.
Standard.
Yes, standard. I've done capacity building for the state assembly across the country, and I discovered that Lagos has 4-year tenure for councillors and chairmen of councils. So, unlike others that does 3 years, 2 years, and in many states they never even bother. They appoint sole administrator, they appoint what's it called, transition committee and all of that. Yeah. So I think it's a constitutional thing. Section 7 of the Constitution says that local government shall not be administered undemocratically. But that's what majority of the governors do. And they have been dragged to court on several occasions, to Supreme Court. Supreme Court has given decision, but it's always observed in the breach.
Thank you.
Quickly, I think the ball is in the court of Nigerians. That's why I'm just not happy the trend of campaigning. Instead of us to take on fundamental issues, as anybody standing for this position of governor, would you conduct local government election? Or if he wins, mount a pressure on him to do that. But as soon as the election is over, everybody will relax and it will be all over.
And that's why they are even against the local government autonomy.
Exactly, yeah.
You see how states continually vote against local government autonomy. I don't understand.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Jide Ojo, consultant and political analyst, and also columnist with the Punch newspaper. Thank you also, Malin Yusuf Zango, former editor-in-chief, News Agency of Nigeria, and now consultant opinion editor for Daily Trust. Thank you also our viewers for staying with us. It is because you are always here with us. That's why we also try to be here for you. Thank you for being here today for Nigeria Decides 2023 on Trust TV. Join us again next week when we meet for another edition of Nigeria Decides 2023 on Trust TV. I am Suleiman. Good night.